After Russia launched its special military operation against Ukraine, Western countries led by the United States and the European Union imposed massive sanctions on Russia, which greatly upset Putin. As a result, Russia has finally decided to strike back. Putin has signed an order approving a list of unfriendly countries and regions, including the United States, EU member states, the United Kingdom, Ukraine, Japan, and several other countries and regions, totaling 48. Specifically, the list includes the United States, all 27 EU member states, Ukraine, the United Kingdom, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, South Korea, Singapore, Switzerland, Montenegro, Albania, and it's truly amusing how the current United States blames China for all the troubles it encounters. For example, the US doesn't even have an independent space station, yet it accuses China of stealing its technology. It's even more ridiculous. One could say that the only thing the United States can boast about now is the dominance of the US dollar. However, the ailing United States has turned the dollar into a weapon and extorts other countries, which only hastens the collapse of the US dollar hegemony. Today, even Americans themselves have realized the seriousness of the problem. So far, the United States has imposed economic sanctions on nearly 40 countries worldwide, including Cuba, China, Russia, North Korea, Iran, Venezuela, affecting nearly half of the global population. It's truly insane. In response, Ben Steele, an economist from the Council on Foreign Relations, expressed that while the United States often accuses other countries of various problems, the real problem is that the US government increasingly uses the US dollar as a financial sanction tool. This will exhaust the credit of the global reserve currency, leading everyone to abandon the US dollar. It's like the excessive use of antibiotics, which has caused countries worldwide to develop resistance. People are starting to question why they should continue to conduct trade using the US dollar. In fact, in recent years, the share of the US dollar in global foreign exchange reserves has significantly declined, from 72% in 1999 to the current 59%. At this rate, although a collapse is not imminent, we will undoubtedly witness a multipolar currency system in the coming years. Therefore, countries around the world have expressed the need to be prepared for a multipolar currency world. As a result, people have started to consider which currencies can replace the functions of the US dollar and gain recognition. From the current trend, the Chinese yuan should be the top choice. Interestingly, India is also eager to try it out recently. This might be heartbreaking for Biden because when Modi visited the United States a few days ago, Biden went all out to win Modi's support, hoping that India would recognize the United States as its big brother and join forces against China. However, Biden may have a bad memory. Modi's goal is to make India a developed country by the mid-century. Therefore, India cannot be content with being America's lackey. For Modi, the United States is merely a tool to be used. Recently, Business Insider revealed an insider story. It turns out that India is questioning the status of the US dollar as the world's reserve currency and hopes to emulate the internationalization of the Chinese yuan by promoting the internationalization of the Indian rupee. Indians believe that currency internationalization is closely related to national economic progress, especially in the context of global trade. Currently, India's GDP has surpassed that of the United Kingdom, entering the top 5. Therefore, following China's export-oriented model, the Indian rupee is bound to follow the path of internationalization, just like the Chinese yuan. However, what puzzles Modi is that despite India's efforts to promote the internationalization of the rupee for over a year, there has been almost no progress. Currently, the share of India's domestic currency trade in the total trade volume is minuscule, accounting for only 0.01%, approximately $120 million. What embarrasses India even more is that despite the attempts by India's Ministry of Petroleum and Ministry of Finance to persuade Russia to accept payment in Indian rupees for oil transactions, the Russian side has explicitly stated that it is unwilling to hold rupees and prefers settlements in yuan or other currencies. This is because Russia simply cannot spend the large amount of rupees it holds. However, despite the significant obstacles faced by the internationalization of the Indian rupee, India, as a member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO, and BRICS, will undoubtedly share a significant amount of dividends from the rise of these two international organizations. On July 4th, the SCO held its 23rd Council of Heads of State meeting via video link. One of the most important topics discussed was the admission of Iran as a member state. This addition brings new vitality to the SCO and expands it from a regional organization to an international one. Moreover, since the Middle Eastern country Iran can join, it is natural for Saudi Arabia, which has already reconciled with Iran, to also join. Therefore, it is not surprising that the SCO will enter a period of rapid expansion in the coming years. This puts the G7, led by the United States, in an awkward position because in terms of economic size and population, the G7 is already unable to compare with the SCO. Let's see if Biden still has the face to claim that the G7 represents the world. In addition, during this meeting, Russian President Putin unintentionally revealed a data point that immediately caused a sensation worldwide. Putin stated that currently, over 80% of the trade between Russia and China is settled in rubles and renminbi. Not only that, the trade volume between the two countries is also rapidly increasing. In 2022, the total trade volume between China and Russia reached a record-breaking $190.271 billion, a year-on-year increase of 29.3%. This solidifies China's position as Russia's largest trading partner for the 13th consecutive year. Especially after the Russia-Ukraine conflict, Western companies have been withdrawing from Russia, creating an excellent opportunity for bilateral trade. Since the beginning of this year, both imports and exports have been growing at a double-digit rate. According to data from the General Administration of Customs of China, from January to May 2023, the trade volume between China and Russia reached $93.806 billion, a year-on-year increase of 40.7%. Such growth can only be described as explosive. Among them, China's exports to Russia amounted to $42.947 billion, an increase of 75.6%. China's imports from Russia amounted to $50.859 billion, an increase of 20.4%. However, from this data, it can be observed that although China's exports to Russia increased by 75.6%, it is still lower than China's imports from Russia, which is nearly $8 billion. What does this indicate? It shows that Russia earns a significant trade surplus from China each year, and the fact that Russia is conducting transactions in renminbi makes it the world's third largest offshore renminbi trading market, following only the United Kingdom and Hong Kong. Not only Russia, but other members of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO, are also working together with China to find ways to undermine the dominance of the US dollar. Many countries have called for strengthening local currency settlements and practicing de-dollarization. Kyrgyzstan President Zaporov even directly stated that the SCO should establish its own SCO bank to facilitate settlements between member countries using their respective currencies. In other words, in the future, each member may open accounts denominated in their own currency at the SCO bank, allowing direct transfers between the accounts of two countries involved in trade without the need for US dollar transactions. In this way, although the US dollar remains a global currency, at least among the members of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO, it no longer holds its position. However, this does not mean that the distribution of currencies among the members will be equal. Due to the varying sizes of each country's economy, the renminbi, according to China's economic size, will undoubtedly become the common currency among SCO countries. Therefore, Russia has set a good example, and even newly joined Iran has already agreed with China to abandon the US dollar in their bilateral trade. Even Middle Eastern countries like Saudi Arabia are considering using the renminbi for energy transactions. Moreover, this trend of abandoning the US dollar has also spread to the backyard of the United States, the Latin American region. Recently, at the 62nd Mercosur Summit in Argentina, Bolivian President Arce called for reducing dependence on the US dollar. He urged South American countries to reduce reliance on the US dollar in economic and trade activities through expanding international cooperation and promoting regional integration. Argentina itself has expressed its dissatisfaction with the United States through action. Recently, Argentina used special drawing rights, SDRs, and renminbi for settlement to repay $2.7 billion in external debt due to the International Monetary Fund, IMF, on the same day. This marked the first time Argentina used renminbi to repay external debt. For this reason, Jim Rogers, a renowned international investor and former partner of Quantum Fund, previously stated that due to the lack of neutrality in the United States, countries around the world have started to doubt the US credibility and are now accelerating their move away from the US dollar. This indicates that the era of the US dollar is coming to an end, and the era of the renminbi is about to begin.